This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Women of Interest is your backstage pass to the stories behind the success.
Get ready to be inspired and empowered as we highlight the resilience, determination, and passion of women who embody the heart and the spirit of Texas.
We're back.
We're back.
It's been a minute.
It has been.
But I'm excited to be here. We have our first guest.
Exciting.
Very exciting. We have Sarah Nelson, who is here with Waco Moms.
Yes.
And she has just acquired Waco Moms. But Waco Moms, she's not new to us in the community and not new to me. I've known her for a while through entrepreneurship with Base Logic, has owned businesses, been in the community. Just going to read a little bit more formal bio, not just my own Michelle bio. Just kind of be a little bit more professional.
Yeah, tell
around
us.
here, around here. So, okay. Joined Waco Moms. You were one of the first to join Waco Moms 2017.
2017 as a contributing writer. Yes. I think Carrie Maddox founded it either late 2016, early 2017. And and it was around that time that I began to write. And so she asked me and gave me a platform, and as well as so many other women. And so it's been a while now.
And it really started as like a blog.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah. So it started as a mom's blog.
Okay.
And it's a part of a collective. They have sites all over the nation.
Okay.
And women own these individual sites, like all over the nation, 70 different city sites.
Wow.
And it's turned into the top parent resource here in the Waco area. And so that's really exciting.
Cool.
So it's been fun to be there from the beginning and watch it grow as a community and then watch it grow into a resource for families and a business and a business that gets to support community. So that's been really fun to watch.
That's very cool.
Yeah. And it's such a compliment to all of the moms that are on there to have a writing resource that they can have kind of go to and write about topics that are important to them and hone in on their writing skills. So it gave them a platform if they were at home and they didn't have that kind of, just like as a magazine and we have contributors and we get to plug them in different ways. As a photographer, a stay-at-home mom that needs a photography on the side, they have a way to kind of, hey, I need some writing skills.
Yeah.
I need to keep that up.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about Waco Moms right from the beginning.
So cool.
So
it gave me a platform. It was kind of at a time where I felt like I was being called to write, which is kind of a really weird feeling. And it was interesting within months of having put some things out there that she provided that platform. And so it's really catapulted other women in their businesses and in their careers and in having kind of a legitimate place to go to say, look, no, I am a writer. And so it supported them. It supported many women here in Waco.
Wow.
So that's been cool to watch.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I've loved seeing that too. And that's what, when I took back over the magazine, I definitely wanted to have Waco Moms as a contributor in the magazine, as a source for not only young moms to look for. It's a broader, we're all moms. And so it doesn't matter what age, even grandparents are sometimes at home with their with the grandkids, and they can look at resources that Waco Moms is writing about too. So it was a complementary tool in the magazine to have so that they can also go to your site after reading the magazine to know and learn more.
And I'm so glad you touched on that, because one of my goals is to really broaden our market of women we reach and then contributors who come in and offer wisdom. I want it to be for moms of all ages. I want it to be for women with, prenatal to babies to preschool. Now we're in high school, middle school. I want it to be for empty nesters and I want it to be for grandmothers, because we can offer so much wisdom and learn from women who've gone before us. And women need encouragement, and they need encouragement regardless of what stage we're in, right? Yeah. But the wisdom that we can give younger families, women with younger children, it's just, I'm at a place where I can maybe offer a piece of advice, but I still really need encouragement from women who've already been there and done that. And I think a lot of us sometimes feel caught in the middle. And so I really want us to have a place where we can all be educated, empowered, and encouraged. And so it's good for business too. There's the business side of it, but it's great for community. And so like what's good for community just feeds back to business and community, which is a great pairing. Because it just cycles back into those women who are business owners and that's helpful to them and their families. And so I really feel like it's a good cycle of support.
Great. Yeah. It's funny because I've been a mom since 2003 when Hattie was born. She's a senior at Baylor now. And we were kind of the black sheep of our families, Brett and I, who landed in Waco because neither of us are from here. And Waco kind of typically had at that time a feeling of like, if you were from here, you came back here, kind of like my hometown and Tyler did. It felt similar in that way. Like, oh, are you a WACOAN? And it was like, no, here I am. I'm the random Baylor grad who chose to stay around and chose to stick it out. And so it was such a great place for us to kind of develop in ministry, develop our organization, and central to all the places we were kind of doing music at the time and those types of things. But I think got, when I first heard about Waco Moms coming along, I think I totally missed some of the like mommy blogging era that was happening because I was just in my own niche world. The interesting thing is that, women who at that time we were only reaching women who were in clubs. And now, we're working with a broader population, but most of our women that we serve are moms. And are needing resources that, to do free things to do with their kids or what is available to me in terms of encouragement, in terms of like what do you do with timeouts? What do you do when your kid has some sort of learning disability and I don't really know how to navigate that or ask the questions. And so I was a little bit late to the resource. And I think it's so great that you're putting it in the magazine now because it kind of, to me, reaches a different audience and it has the capacity to be broader than what it typically has been.
It does. And I just met with a group of women yesterday and we're putting structure to how we connect women. So there's two sides. There's the business side of it. We have local businesses that they can advertise, but do it in a way that's engaging to provide resources to women. And then there's the community side of it. So we have a real life, tangible group of women. They write for us, they follow us, they come to our events, they come to coffee and community that we have once a month. You can bring your babies or little kids. And so we advertise on that if that's something that people want to join us. To meet other women, but we're really wanting, to work with the WACOAN and put a structure to the community so that our message gets to more people and to more women of all seasons, like we've just touched on, as well as putting a structure in place so that when someone has a need, we know exactly where to refer them. And then we can publish those guides that we put together for women to go to our website. But we also have women in the community who that's their job is to send people to grief care. That's their job to help them if they're going through struggles or find a counselor or someone that is a professional that can help them. So we are meeting with women who we are putting together the structure and we are going to work with them to put these resources in a place where they are easy to find.
That's helpful.
Love this.
I mean,
it's really helpful.
What I found in the past several years was that it's hard to get into a counselor. Like people would ask me, where do I go?
Definitely.
What do I
my
do?
goodness,
Like, who do I know? And then it's such a small
Oh.
community. You're like, well, I know that person. And I feel like
Yeah.
I don't want to go. And I need a more objective professional to offer advice, whether it's advice or professional help. And so we are starting to put that in place. And it may be some women behind the scenes, and then it may be women who want to face, and they start coming to coffee and community to meet these women. And really it is about personal relationships.
How do you end up becoming a part. It was kind of like this elusive thing. And it was like, I had a friend, Dawn Weibel, who runs Talk More, Tech Less. And at the time she was doing a food business, and she would always do a lot. And she was like, I'm doing the Waco Moms thing tonight or something. I was like, what is this? Like, where is it? How, like, who's a member? It seemed kind of like this club that you didn't know how to get into. And so are you kind of removing that barrier, you think, as you broaden, as you hope to grow?
Yes, we want to remove any barrier. You know, this is a place where anyone can come and be a part and feel comfortable and find community and find friendship. And so we are putting a structure together in place of professionals that are going to be accessible. So if someone wants to help with that piece of it and you're a professional and you want to offer services, we also have a team of contributors. Typically, contributors, there is an invitation, but if someone says, I'm a writer and this is what I have to offer as a resource, can I be considered? We absolutely consider that. And anyone is welcome.
And then so to join, you just go to is it like a club? How is it structured?
If you want to follow
Waco
Moms,
I'm so on the outside.
This is so wonderful. I love it.
And to follow us and get all of the events and updates, you subscribe. It's just like a newsletter.
Got it.
So you get and we have it twice a month that we send it out.
Okay.
So in that newsletter, you'll get information on coffee and community, time, location, where we're going to be. If there's another event that we're putting on, you will get that information as well.
Okay.
You can follow us at social media on Waco Moms, Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And so we are constantly putting out information. And then, of course, to be a follower, you subscribe, go on our website, thewacomoms.com, and then you will get access to all of that ongoing information. And anyone is welcome. Like the more the merrier. We want everyone to be included.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I love that. I mean, that is what, when I first heard of it too, it sounded, they would have events.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
And how can I go? But I felt like, oh, well, I don't have little kids, so maybe I don't need to go. But I loved the way, and I always appreciated the way that y'all put together your booths at different events and had vendors. And I think that the way that you're going about it, the new way, maybe, or a different way. I think that what you're doing is wonderful, and offering professionals and giving a side to it where you have events, and the new side where you're offering resources. Because I think not everybody wants the resources. They want the coffee and community.
Yeah.
Other people want resources. Other people want the ladies' night out because it's so much fun with their girlfriends. So offering all of those things, I've always admired what y'all do. So I think continue on because it's great.
Thank you. Well, we're excited. I'm excited to move forward. And it's exciting when other women get to be a part and we partner together because there's so many women who have so much to offer when it comes to advice and resources, and they know other people. And yesterday, like when I was in a meeting, she's like, oh, you should contact so-and-so, and gave me a name. She's really good at knowing whatever the topic was we were discussing. So it's really about building a community of network and doing so in person.
Yeah.
So we're starting there.
That's right.
I love that.
And I think when you were talking about, Emily, going to the blog sphere and going out and finding information, I think so many of us get stuck at doing that. And then that's where you get lost with communication and connection. And so having it tangible, and you can either go on the blog and find it there, or you can go to the events.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go to a church to find it.
Right.
If you don't want to.
Right.
I mean, I think that that's important too, is that sometimes people feel like they can only go to a Mommy and Me that's offered at a preschool at a church.
Yeah. And you're really, you're hitting on, like you said, a broader spectrum. I think one of the gaps, I'm learning this as now, and you're about to have, you said, a senior graduate, and I've got kids in college, and you've had kids who've flown the coop.
Yes.
And what I am recognizing as a mom is that parenting does not stop. It gets different, and it requires something very different. And in my upbringing and just generation as a Gen Xer, it was like deuces up, like, you know,
You're out.
like,
I'm
you know,
out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And it's like, hope you do well. You know, and they did what they could with what they had, but we didn't have cell phones. I didn't call my parents all the time. You know, I remember my freshman year, my dad was really the one who wrote me every week. And it was like 3 pages. And it was like, the dogs are doing good. So-and-so woke up with a sore throat. I mean, it was so detailed and like matter of fact. But I'm recognizing that, like, as my girls are older, what I missed was I had to go search for those moms in Waco. And so I had to go find mentors and
Very hard.
older women
Yes.
who could help invest in me and show me the ropes and where do I get my oil changed and what doctor do I visit for an issue I'm having. And so anyway, I'm just, that gap into adulthood, you still need parenting, you know, and it's just, it just changes.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm from Dallas. My husband, Mark's from Houston. We met at Baylor. We are not from Waco.
Right.
So all 3 of us sitting on this couch,
Yeah.
same thing.
We are not from Waco.
Yeah.
Transplants.
And we are transplants. And we actually even moved away twice and moved back.
Okay.
So we were
That's
in
right.
Austin for 3 years and then moved back. And then we're here for 4 years. And then we're in the Miami area for a year. And then we're back. And we're so thankful to call this place home. But I experienced the same thing. I had to go out and seek out a mom's group. When we moved back from Austin back to Waco, I was pregnant with my first child, who's my son, and he's 18 now. So that tells you how long ago it was.
Yeah.
But I had to take initiative and do that. And it wasn't always easy to find. And you really had to search. And we know motherhood can be so isolating. It is such a gift and it is such a blessing, but it's also hard.
Very hard.
And you have to have women there alongside of you in the same stages. And again, from women who have already been there to support you. And so I did do that. But, you know, I want women to know I'm so glad that I took initiative because what I found was a group of moms at the time that were not like me.
Okay.
They came maybe from a different lens or had a different background, or maybe they just simply had a different personality. And maybe when I was in college, I wouldn't have necessarily paired up and been friends with them, just naturally speaking. But we had the common thread of motherhood to start building friendship. And I look back on those relationships and the difference of personalities and realized how much I learned to understand women better, to look at motherhood and being a woman from a completely different lens and do so with understanding and respect and just to open my perspective of what motherhood can teach all of us.
Wow.
And that's what I want women to find. And I don't want it to be hard for them to find.
Right.
Wow.
And we have the opportunity as women here in Waco, as leaders, to come together and provide this platform. And I think that that's what makes Waco special is we're open to that.
Yeah.
And everyone I've talked to so far is on board. They're like, how can I help and what can I do?
That's wonderful. And so what led you to buy Waco and take, not take over, but kind of in this transition, it's had now 3 owners. Carrie kind of started it here in Waco. And then Katie Snap and Katia took it over and they're realtors. So it was growing so much that they also have another job and they're moms.
Yes.
I mean, it's busy and they've got little kids. So, in your season of life, what made you, because you've got a middle schooler, 2 high schoolers.
2 high schoolers, one about to go to college.
Yeah.
It's really a season of transition. This whole year for us has been a year of transition. And so I have a background in business. I majored in marketing, have a background in corporate sales and entrepreneurship. There was a period where I was a stay-at-home mom and then went back into owning a brick and mortar business. And then during this time, our life and people in Waco, some know of this story because I've shared it publicly. You know, my daughter had a medical crisis at the age of 2 and this community was just incredibly supportive. And I sold the business and I began to feel like I am supposed to write. Now, that is in and of itself a faith journey, one that takes a very long time to explain. But I will tell you, I had no platform. It was like I was I was shooting a bow and arrow with no target. And I felt like I was like, okay, I'm just supposed to do this, and then I feel like God's going to provide a place where it's supposed to land. Talk about a fearful feeling. But I sold my business because our family life had been turned upside down. We needed more time to manage that scenario. And so then literally a month or two after I made that decision, Carrie Maddox came to me. She's like, I've heard you're writing. I'd love for you to write. And I thought, what an answered prayer.
For real. I mean, in such a turmoil of events in your life. And I was reading at the time what had been going on with your life. And I know so many people were praying for you at that time. And I know God was just writing through your hands because it must have been so difficult. So, wow. I just love those God moments that just happen.
And it was certainly let me just tell you, it was only a God moment because I never thought I wanted to be a writer or an author ever.
Because you've written your book.
I did.
We haven't even talked about
I say that though in the
Yes.
loosest sense of the word. They're like, oh, you're an author. I'm like, well, I mean, can't anybody write a book? Like,
no,
really?
they can't.
But she gave me a platform, to really kind of, I say validate, not that we need validation in that, but it really does validate you as a writer.
You're perfect for it. I mean, I feel like what this is about, I mean, what we're doing here is exactly what you just said. And what the magazine is about, what your nonprofit is about, what you have always been doing. I think it is all what it's connection.
Making space,
for people, for
Love
women, to find what they need in life and on their journey at the right time. That's what it's all about.
What do you feel like, Sarah, is the kind of the maybe both the challenge but the gift of writing that you didn't know at the time when you first kind of were given the opportunity and you were like, oh, I kind of want to do this, but I don't know.
It took me 7 years, and it was published in the winter of, it was February 2021.
Okay.
So it's been 3.5 years.
Yeah.
But I literally, and you can't plan this. I wrote a book about crisis, and it's a devotional.
Yes.
And I released this book about crisis in the middle of February 2021 when we had a power crisis.
Oh my goodness.
We had a
that's
freeze,
right.
and everybody, like, people were snowed in for days and weeks, and there was power outages everywhere and all over Texas. And so that was ironic. You can't plan that, right? And so it was that long ago, but it's been interesting. Every step of the way has just been, there's no way I could have planned the 7 years, which is the number of perfection, which a friend who interviewed me at the time pointed out, which I thought was ironic and wonderful. And then during the middle of a crisis and about a crisis. And so people, and after 2020, like we were all
that's
dealt with crisis. Like we get it. But anyway, it's been interesting to see how it's grown into a platform since then.
And getting speaking engagements. Do you talk about just that, or what's your topic that you get speaking engagements for?
So it does center a lot around the book, but mom subjects. So some of them are going with your gut, mom's intuition, and what that looks like. It depends on the group of, is that from a faith-based perspective or just a mom perspective, in general? And some of them are how to advocate for your child, when you're in a medical situation that's ongoing.
That is such a wonderful topic.
That's a big one.
So many times you just don't know because you've never had to deal with it.
Yes.
What a great topic.
Women really respond to that too, because I think as moms, we all can identify with being like in a pediatrician's office and feeling like maybe something's off, or maybe you're in a situation with a teacher, a counselor at school, and you are trying to navigate something that's going on, trying to get all the pieces and all the information, and you know your child better than anyone else. And knowing that you have that mother's intuition, leaning on that, trusting it, and then taking that step in the right direction to be the advocate, not being afraid to speak up and saying, no, I would like another answer. No, I would like a second opinion. No, or yes, I really do feel like we need to take the next step. Or no, I don't feel like that's the right direction for my child. What are my other options?
Wow.
It's empowering women and moms to speak up and remember they're the ones that are responsible for their children. And yes, we need to listen to doctors. Yes, we need to glean from their experience and do what they ask us to do, as long as we feel it is what's best. So,
yeah.
Nice.
So much of it as it's funny what happens with your kid when your kid has a problem or your child has a crisis, and how much it mirrors kind of back to you, like some of your own coping mechanisms or trauma responses. And I think one of the things for women that has been historically true too in studying is that, being disembodied or fragmented from your own gut, from your own intuition, because we historically as women are just even civilly are behind in our learning. So we did not learn to read when everyone else learned to read. We didn't know how to vote or what politics look like because we just didn't know. We didn't understand the healthcare system because other people were making choices for us. So it's really interesting our finances, money, couldn't get a loan until 1972 when we could have a credit card. In 1972, 76 was the first time women could go to the bank and have a line of credit in your name. Yeah. So,
wow.
So, so historically, like even just our ability to understand these terms, to know, what is needed, or it really kind of, it feels like when these things happen to our kid, we're like, oh my gosh, this came from me. Like this is my child, or came from my heart if we've adopted, and we want to do everything for this person. But maybe sometimes in these systems, we feel like we're not trusted as much. And I think women have to just really reckon with that, of what it means to go, I kind of know something about, and I want more testing done.
Absolutely.
And I may not know all the fancy language that you know, but I'm telling you, I know my body. This is my child. I want a second opinion, and it just takes so much courage.
It really does.
To just say that,
And sometimes women can feel intimidated, and we don't have to.
Right.
Like, we don't have to be intimidated. We are the ones in charge of the situation, and we get to make that decision.
Right.
And again, it's important to listen to the people who are professionals, because they can give very, very good advice, but not to be intimidated to let someone run over you when making that decision.
Trusting your gut,
Trusting
standing
your
up
gut.
for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of having just a total emotional response, kind of scaling it back and listening and trusting your gut.
Yeah. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
To trust yourself.
Yes.
Definite challenge. I've been there and understand.
Yeah. As you look forward to like the next year, what are your goals for? I know you talked about growing Waco Moms and having these resources, but how do you do that? Like, what is your next step as you're kind of planning the future for Waco Moms?
It's meeting with people like you all. I had a meeting yesterday with a group of women. It was a great meeting. They were so supportive and they want to help. And they're going to be people that I reach out to when we're putting these guides of resources together to help me put those together. And so I have people to reach out to starting at the end of this year, really in January, to kick off, like, what does that structure look like and who's going to be involved? And also from a business side of it, to grow it so we can support the community side of it too. Really reaching out to partners, building the business, looking at ways we can offer more community and events. And when I say events, we have Mom's Night Out once a year, which is a huge hit always. And we want to keep that. But even if it's, hey, we have a sponsor and we're inviting you for lunch at this establishment on a Friday, no strings attached.
Yeah.
That's what people want. most of the time. You know, yes, we want the Mother's Night Out of Reprieve. Yes, there are times where we need vendors and resources, but the majority of the time we just want to get together. And so we are going to put all of those cornerstones. I believe the cornerstones are in place, and now I have the opportunity to take the baton and really build on it and include as many women and people in the community as possible.
Yeah. I imagine single moms probably make up a bulk of who you're reaching as well. And I think that is that is mostly who our population is at Lovely Village, and the resources that women have to share with each other and to kind of have a village concept of even parenting and mothering. You know, when you're a single mom, you rely on other moms. Well, even if you're not a single mom, I mean, I had we joked about sister wives because we weren't in any way sister wives, but you know, we do play dates together. We're taking each other's children's to games. We're making meals together weekly, you know, to meal prep or whatever. And I just think that's the kind of community that can feel, you know, unavailable to single moms. And it's just beautiful that you're, you know, wanting to create this space where anyone, and no matter what mothering is looking like, come.
Absolutely. Come. Regardless of single, you know, married, whatever your background, please come and join us because we are going to have the people in place to help you have just a good time if you need a break or somebody who can really talk to you and you can lean on for advice.
Yeah, that's great.
We're also going to be putting together a piece of it, and a piece of the community is nonprofits. So we are going to have a nonprofit area where we do partner with nonprofits to do what you're talking about. And when we find those needs in the community, we're going to partner with them to make sure those needs are taken care of and promote those ways that moms can then serve. So we want to educate, empower, and encourage. And we also want to connect women to one another. We want to connect them to community, but we also want to connect them to community in a way where then they can turn around and serve.
Yes.
Okay,
because
wonderful.
I feel
That's
like
great.
we can receive, and it's so important to receive the things that we need, but true learning and healing of whatever we're going through really takes place when we take the focus off of ourselves and when we reach out and help other people.
I totally agree. And
Yeah,
that's a component on our website that I've been wanting to figure out how to do, because we have such a great nonprofit community that we've talked about. And so that is something that I would love to talk to you more about, how we can really partner.
Yeah. We got the
Because
nonprofits,
we
don't
have
we?
them. We have a ton.
We got them.
We have a ton.
We'll tell you where they're
But,
at.
you know, it's kind of getting all together in one space so that we have all of the moms that want to serve and that we can have one location where we can combine efforts. Because sometimes in our community, what we do is we have every which way and we're all trying to do this kind of the same thing, but we're not connecting where we can have even more people help. And so that's what I would really love.
I love that.
To be able to
I
do
think it's
that.
wonderful because the other thing with nonprofits is they're always having great events, but we get so much information on the daily, whether it's social media, if as moms, emails from schools and all the things that we're supposed to keep up with. We'll have a gala come around and be like, oh, I would have loved to be a part of that or help out, and it's almost like I can't keep up with what is going on. So just
Waco's just grown so
it
much
is,
too.
and it's
always something
wonderful.
cool happening.
Yes, so very
So
good.
It
much.
needs to be like that.
So in the magazine, when they're writing, they're even writing about their kids doing nonprofit work as well, or it's just different topics that they write about, infusing, you know, all types of things, and even nonprofit work, and that's what just I love about it. But of course, this too. I'm just saying, just all of it. I just what a great idea.
Yeah, it's good
Town
stuff.
meeting with nonprofit. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then to get the message out to the businesses, local businesses, you get to be a part of this too. We can't do it without them, right? And so that's really cool when you can partner everyone.
Yeah. It is.
So I'm excited.
Wow.
We're
Thank
excited
you
to have
for
you. This has
sharing.
been great. There's so much good stuff happening in Waco, and
It
it sounds
is.
like Waco Moms is off to just a great, incredible start.
Just
Yes.
continuing on.
We're gonna take the baton, like I said, and we're gonna continue. We're gonna grow, and we're gonna just be a place where moms can find reprieve and connection.
So remind us again, how do we get involved with Waco Moms? So
Okay.
if you're a mom listening,
Mhm.
we want you to be involved. Want you to go to Waco
Mhm.
Moms. So tell us how to find
Okay,
you.
so you go to the website and you sign up as a subscriber, where you can start receiving the newsletters that will give you all the information of things that we have going on. That's the first step.
And that's Waco Moms.
TheWacoMoms.com.
The
TheWacoMoms.com.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
So come and follow us on social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook and maybe more. I'll let you know. And it will all be on our website. And then if you are interested in partnering with us, whether it's a nonprofit, maybe you write, maybe you are new to the area and you want more information, email us at info@thewacomoms.com.
Okay.
Perfect.
We're going to follow.
I know. It's
Love it.
wonderful.
So excited.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for
so
having me.
much.
This
Wonderful.
has been great.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And be sure to pick up a copy of your WACOAN or go to wacoan.com.
Together, let's celebrate the strength, the grace, and the undeniable impact of the women who make our community great.
This has been a Rogue Media Network